Part 1 of the Bedrogfontein 4x4 route covers the first 5 kilometers. This section is very easy, but be prepared for far worse conditions later on. If you intend driving this route, we recommend watching the orientation and overview video first to gain an idea of the size and scope of the terrain. Before setting off, deflate your vehicle's tires down to at least 1.4 bar. On the day of filming, we lowered tire pressures to 1.1 bar. This will be appreciated in the western section, which is much rougher and where the improved traction will be needed. Once you've obtained your permit at the Kaboge gate, simply follow the signs and you're on your way. Please note that they only take cash. The lush and green vegetation in this eastern section makes for perfect habitat for kudu. The slower you drive, the more you'll see. We recommend a speed of between 30 and 40 km per hour for this first 5 km long section. The first 3.5 km consists mainly of a gentle ascent with a gradient seldom exceeding 1 in 14. In the early centuries, when great herds of wild animals roamed the Addo region, the Kusan of the Ikwa, Damaskwa and Gonukwa clans lived in this area. They hunted and kept cattle, but tragically were largely wiped out in the 1700s by the smallpox epidemic. The Addo Elephant National Park was proclaimed in 1931 to protect the remaining 11 Addo elephants. The great herds of elephant and other animal species had all been decimated by hunters over the 17 and 1800s. In the late 1800s, farmers began to colonize the area around the park, also taking their toll on the elephant population due to competition for water and crops. This conflict reached a head in 1919 when farmers called on the government to exterminate the elephants. The government even appointed a major praetorius to shoot the remaining elephants, who killed 114 elephants between 1919 and 1920. Public opinion then changed, leading to the proclamation of the park in 1931. The original size of the park was just over 2,000 hectares. Conflicts between elephants and farmers continued after proclamation as no adequate fence enclosed the park. Finally, in 1954, Graham Armstrong, the park manager at the time, developed an elephant-proof fence constructed using tram rails and lift cables, and an area of 2,270 hectares was fenced in. There were 22 elephants in the park at that time. The Armstrong fence, named after its developer, is still used around the park today. Although the park was originally proclaimed to protect a single species, priorities have now changed to conserve the rich biological diversity found in the area. Your permit also allows you to drive a number of loops along the route. The first of these is the Woodlands Loop, which leads off to the right at the 2-kilometer point. This is a 7-kilometer long detour, which will get you back to the main road a little further on. If you're overnighting along the route, remember to bring your own firewood, and be advised that there's a fee per vehicle as well as conservation fees per person. Permits can be booked at the Addo Main Camp Reservation, or it can be booked at the Kaboge gate. You can drive the route throughout the year, but check the river conditions with a ranger if you want to attempt the optional river crossings. The Bedrogfontein 4x4 route is the only one within the Addo Elephant National Park. At the 3.7 kilometer point, you'll drive past the ranger's house, which appears on the left-hand side of the road. We suggest marking this on your GPS in case of an emergency, as this will be the best place to get help. Further along the trail as you get towards the western section, there are 2 species of ancient cycads which grace the mountain slopes, while towering yellowwood trees pierce the sky and offer much needed shade during the summer. This is not an extremely technical nor a challenging 4x4 route, but the scenery and the views are spectacular, particularly along the Sundays River section. As water is scarce in summer and temperatures regularly hover around 40 degrees centigrade, 4x4 drivers should carry enough drinking water. Make a note that no fires may be lit anywhere along the route. A maximum of 6 vehicles are allowed on the route at any one time, and it's strongly recommended that at least 2 vehicles should travel together for safety purposes. Besides the many kudu that you'll see in this eastern section, you're also highly likely to see warthog. Be sure to watch part 2 of the Bedrogfontein 4x4 route.